Joining me on the line to discuss all of this is former ambassador to China and the Office of International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback. He has a brand new book out titled China's War on Faith, talking about the CCP carrying out systemic global campaigns against religion and what CCP is doing to infiltrate America. Ambassador, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me on the show and highlighting this. I think this is just a critical topic, and now the president's headed to Beijing. We need to be talking about this stuff.
So, Ambassador, I want to talk about the extent to which China has infiltrated our systems. It's trying to use our own systems against us. I've been saying for a long time that China is not just a geopolitical opponent. They are, in fact, a geopolitical enemy of the United States. They seek to subvert American global hegemony. They are seeking to make alliances with America's enemies. This is what they do. Why don't you talk a little bit, and you do in your book, about exactly what China has been doing in terms of infiltrating our economic institutions and our other institutions?
Well, thank you for putting it just that way, because that was the thing that Ronald Reagan had to convince this country of on the Soviet Union. We had a détente period beforehand. They are over there, we're over here, just we'll fight over some areas, but it was détente. And Reagan said, no, this is an evil empire, and we are going against it. And we win, you lose. That's the nature of what communism is. It seeks this hegemony to be able to take over the entire world. They're seeking to push out the United States. They've been at war with us, whether we realize they are at war with us or not, and whether we declare and push back against that. That's what I think we've got to do. What I point out in the book is that one of their key groups that they track and they push against and they can't stand is religion, all religions. It's the Tibetan Buddhists, it's the Muslim Uyghurs, it's Falun Gong, it's Christians, all of them, because it answers to a higher authority than the government, the Communist Party. And that's something they just cannot tolerate, will not tolerate. And they do it not only in their own country, they push their satellite countries to do something quite similar.
Yeah, Ambassador, one of the things that they obviously have done is infiltrated our economic institutions. I've talked about how they've infiltrated our universities. They've turned American businesses into essentially operatives on their own behalf by us trying to open up China politically, by opening them economically. We ended up locating an enormous number of critical supply chains in China, and that has allowed them to basically leverage the United States into kinder treatment as they steal our IP. Well, what are the kinds of things that you saw as ambassador to China that made you say, wow, China really does not have some sort of cooperative interest at heart?
What I saw that really turned me on this with the concentration camps in Xinjiang or East Turkestan, whatever you want to really refer to it as, it's never been a part of China until the Chinese Communist Party took it over. But when they put in place concentration camps, and this is in 2018 that I first started to notice this, you're going, what? In 2018, we have concentration camps in the world? And then if you get out of the concentration camps, you have this digital police state that's around you with cameras everywhere and tracking devices on your phone and keyword searches. They were putting in a beta test of how you mollify a religious population. And they were doing that. And then they export that technology to other authoritarians and dictators around the world to make them better dictators, to build up their side of the aisle, if you will, their side of the camp of the communists, the authoritarians, and the totalitarians. That's what I saw. And that's when I sounded the alarm in 2019. In Hong Kong, I gave the speech, China is at war with faith. It is a war they will not win. But we've got to stand up and push back against that. And thankfully, President Trump has done more on religious freedom than any modern president, arguably more than any president since Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the original Religious Freedom Charter in Virginia. He's a guy that really can and should be in a position to push back against what China is doing.
Yeah, Ambassador, you mentioned obviously their attacks on faith. A large part of that is not just communism. It's also an attack on America, because America, of course, is a faith-based country. And one of the things that they have been attempting to do is basically infiltrate pretty much all of our systems. You mentioned digital authoritarianism, but obviously algorithms like TikTok that were designed for American consumption are designed in order to undermine America's belief in her own principles. You see China trying to spread its tentacles abroad via places like Iran, places like Venezuela. The president's been fighting back against a lot of that. What are the best strategies the United States should be using in order to curb Chinese influence operations?
Number one, we need to realize we're at war. I think that's the first step is we got to say and need to go to the American public, look, this is a system that's diametrically opposed to us. On this foundational issue of religious freedom, we look at it as cornerstone human right. They look at it as an existential threat. Then I think we need to start bringing into the White House, the Vice President, the Secretary of State, Chinese dissidents that have been persecuted for their faith. Have them tell their story to the American public, to our leaders. We should convene a leadership summit of world religious leaders and talk with them about religious freedom for everybody everywhere, including in China. Because China fears religious freedom more than they fear our aircraft carriers or our nuclear weapons. I think as we start pushing on our principles, remember religious freedom 250 years ago, this is a foundational principle that allows the United States to form, and it's really what people first came here for. So this is us in principle standing on our principles at a time we're under attack by a regime that wants to remove us from global leadership. I think these are some effective ways we can start to effectively push back against this Chinese communism, authoritarianism growth around the world.
Well, that is Sam Brownback, the former governor of Kansas and former ambassador to China. His book is China's War on Faith. Go check it out right now. Ambassador, thanks so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Ben. Thank you.